Good day guys, Austin here, and in this one today, we're going to get stuck into a bit of EmuNation. Now to be more specific, we're going to be looking at the Nintendo NES Classic Edition, or Mini Edition, whatever it is you call this. Basically the little tiny console which has been gold dust to find all over the world. It comes with 30 games, and although those games are beautiful and awesome, people want more. People always want more. And it's now an option to do without opening up, without soldering iron, without taking a degree in MIT, IT science, whatever it is. Basically, we can now do it with a console, a wire, and a PC. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Okay, so the NES Classic Edition, or the NES Mini, wherever you want to call this, it's finally been cracked wide open and now available for us guys to actually add more than the 30 pre-installed games that were originally on there. Now, of course, this is not sanctioned by Nintendo. They have made it clear that they want no, alterations made to this. Nothing official will ever come out of them. Who knows if they've got any future plans to bring out more editions of all this kind of stuff. But for now, we are stuck with the 30 that are available on that build. Now, as I'm sure we all know, the Nintendo PR machine and the, sales and the techniques that were used have completely sold out this box. And let's face it, it's good technique because pretty much everywhere around the world, you either have to pay through the odds or you cannot get one. Even myself, I have not got one as of yet because I'm not prepared to stump up any more cash than what is actually put on the recommended retail price to actually purchase one of these. I'd rather just wait and get one then. But those people who are lucky enough to get one can now add more than those 30 games that were available. Now, this has apparently been done through the Japanese and the Russians. Now, what they've managed to do is Softmod this. And what that means is that you don't need to open up the box, you don't need to do any soldering, there's no high-tech stuff that needs to be done to actually get this to work. It can all be done through the software itself, in other words, Softmod. Now, I'm not saying that this is a simple task at all, but from what I've read in the literature, it's a simple case of plugging a USB cable between the NES Mini Classic Edition, whatever it's called, to the actual PC, and then booting the actual NES console into FEL mode, which is as simple as apparently pressing the reset button while booting, and then using the software that is now available, you can then go into the actual NES and plonk in there whatever game ROMs you want to add. Now, of course, this is all theoretical on my side because as of yet, I have not forked out the silly amount of money and I've not waited in line to actually get one of these. Of course, once it is more reasonable, once the next batch comes out, then of course, I will be testing this out. Because, let's face it, I love the fact of this having, 30 games. But for me, owning this is about more the novelty rather than the actual functionality of this console. So having something that I can actually put more functionality into it makes it absolutely awesome. Now, again, this is not endorsed by Nintendo, so by doing all this kind of stuff, you probably will end up losing your warranty. You are at own risk of actually bricking your NES console, Classic Edition, whatever they call it. And let's face it, if they find out that you've been doing it because of this, you ain't going to get a replacement. And with the scarcity of this kind of product and the prices that are going around right now, you're probably better off waiting until this becomes at least more mainstream before you start messing around with all this kind of stuff. So, gypsies warning and caveats all around for all that kind of stuff, guys. Now, as of yet, all this being good, I still haven't found out how many games this can actually take and what its limits are. From what I can find and from what I've been seeing, especially physically on screen and the demos that people have been doing, the maximum I've been seeing myself is 60 games on there at any one time. Now, the ins and outs on this, I cannot get my hands on it, so I cannot prove it. But I do know that the actual specifications, which I haven't got at the top of my head right now, are limited on the NES. Of course, the actual games for the NES is tiny, and the complete collection, which I believe is like 700 plus or something, it's still very small. But again, so is the actual I suppose what you class as the hard drive or the flash drive of where all these games are stored on that system. So is the limit? Is there so much you can push it to? Then it just starts bricking or breaking? I've got no ideas. These are the reasons why you need to be waiting for other people to make the mistakes before you make the mistake and end up forking out more cash and waiting around more time to actually rectify them. Play the clever game, guys. I would say that if you are even thinking about or contemplating this kind of stuff. Okay, something else that you need to consider is this actually the truth? Again, I cannot put my seal of approval on this because I physically have not seen this. I physically cannot do it. Until Nintendo decide to unleash the next stage of these little mini NES into production and get them out to places like me in the middle of nowhere, then I'm stuck without it. So I cannot guarantee that any of this will work. Links in the description down below that has all been documented, people doing all that kind of stuff and everything that I've been able to find to see if you can agree and see if you find these third parties and people talking about this more trustworthy. But for me, I'm going to wait off for a bit. But then comes the next stage of caveats to ponder about all this, because Nintendo aren't stupid. As soon as they pick up on this kind of stuff, they will close all the doors and all the loopholes that are available. So it wouldn't put it past them if they actually, in future updates and incarnations, especially the next patch, start to close all these doors so it's no longer possible to do it, at least in this way that they're doing it right now. Now, I cannot say this is all speculation. In fact, this entire video is made up of complete speculation from my point of view because, again, I haven't got the actual hardware to actually test and prove this on as of yet. But knowing Nintendo, they will find this out straight away. And if there is loopholes, they will start closing them pretty damn quickly. So there you go then, guys. That is everything to do with this NES escapade that's been going on over the last day or so. Of course, I will keep you updated with how all this evolves and which software you should be using if you are going to go about this. Trusted websites, links, and all that kind of stuff in the future. There is a long way to go as we've talked about with all this, but it is possible. It is actually possible. For me, I probably will take that jump. I probably will, even though I said I wouldn't. I probably will. Once the systems become more publicly available, the prices go down, so on and so forth, I'll probably pick up a secondary one of these units, open it up, do some testing on it, do actually things in terms of the Raspberry Pi emulation, utilizing the case because it is a beautiful case, let's face it. Everybody loves the NES cases, and I will be doing probably follow-up videos with all that kind of builds and stuff that we can make possible because we can at the end of the day. That's why we do everything in this scene, because we can. But it's been a pleasure as always bringing this today, guys. Look forward in the future because there's lots more to come. But please please subscribe, please do all the things that people normally do in this YouTube world where Nintendo are not going to be happy. But most of all, you have a good day. Laters!